Order, please.
Well, you want to know, there ain't no effing onions.
Provisions of the Open Public Meetings Law.
Pursuant to the requirements of the Open Public Meetings Law, adequate public notice that this meeting has been given. By publication in the required newspapers, the date, time, and location of this meeting within 48 hours in advance. By posting advance written notice on the official bulletin board in the municipal building. By filing advance written notice with the township clerk for the purpose of public inspection.
At this time, we ask everyone to please turn off all cell phones or pages, either off or vibrate. Roll call of officials present.
Committeeman Melchiondo?
Here.
Committeeman Lasella?
Here.
Committeeman Moreno?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Billy?
Here.
Mayor Cerulli?
Here. Invocation by Reverend Christopher Ryan, please.
Mr. Pesci, you gonna throw me a fastball? Is it
Curve,
on?
maybe.
Is it on? Is it on yet? Can you hear me?
Yeah, so don't throw you a curve.
Well, Lord, here we are again, another meeting in a challenging year, fiscally and otherwise. And we just call on you. You tell us in your word that you're our helper. So we want to be in your court to run this township and to run our own personal lives as we cooperate with each other to bring you glory here and to live peaceful lives. So we say, Lord, if there's any area in our lives personally or corporately as a township that you want to do some upgrade or correction or whatever, help yourself that we might walk and talk and live godly lives here in this township. In our Savior's name, Jesus, we pray.
Thank you, Reverend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, everybody please rise for the salute to the flag, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Resolution 2012-125.
Resolution authorizing the township committee to retire into closed session for the purpose of discussing personnel, public safety, contractual, and litigation matters.
Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Committeeman Lasella?
Yes.
Committeeman Moreno?
Yes.
Committeeman Melchiondo?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Billy?
Yes.
Mayor Cerulli?
Yes. I think we only need about 10 minutes.
You got the papers now. You're on the right. What? Yeah, can you read by him too? That really hurts. Somebody else I wouldn't have minded.
All right, I'd like to call the meeting back to order, please. All right, we'll start off with the mayor's report. On February 8, 2012, I had the opportunity to speak before 100 mayors and a panel of Governor Christie's cabinet members. I brought to their attention the serious tax assessment issues that are creating havoc with our tax rate and the crushing burden it's putting on our residents. Committeeman Lasella and our business administrator and I will be meeting with the acting commissioner, Richard Constable III of the Department of Community Affairs, this Thursday at 4 p.m. in Trenton. We will request that he give us, as well as other municipalities, a mechanism to stabilize taxes when real estate prices crash. We already know what we need to do, but we need his blessing, his permission. I will report back the results of this meeting at the March 5th Township meeting. On Reorganization Day, January 1st, 2012, I stated that this committee had a plan and that extraordinary measures would be implemented which will serve as a model for other municipalities for saving money through shared services. On February 8th, we held a joint shared service meeting with the Township of Ocean. At this meeting, we passed 6 resolutions, 3 of which will allow Barnegat to reduce operating expenses approximately $311,000 over the next year and a half. We were able to eliminate 3 director positions with our administrator, which our administrator Dave Breeden will detail in a PowerPoint presentation. Also passed were resolutions 2012-122 for shared services with Ocean City, and resolution 2012-121 shared services with Stafford Township. Mr. Breeden and I also met with the president of our volunteer EMS squad and discussed their 5-year plan and their immediate needs. Earlier this year, a driver under the influence hit and totaled one of our first responder vehicles. Tonight we will vote on replacing that vehicle with the insurance money from the accident in combination with some money that was bonded for the December in 2011 for equipment, because the vehicle wasn't new, so we didn't get the total value of that. In closing, there are 3 issues of concern that unfortunately I must address. This committee will answer any and all questions relating to township business, but expects those coming up to the podium to do so in a respectful manner. Yelling out, personal attacks, and inappropriate behavior will not be tolerated and will be dealt with in an appropriate manner. Secondly, from time to time, an individual may feel that a committee has violated state statute regarding procedure. We welcome any and all comments and will correct any errors we might inadvertently make. We always check with our legal counsel and have our solicitor explain the law to the objector. Sometimes we will get an individual who just will not accept the facts and end up costing the taxpayers needlessly. The township will seek to recover these expenses in blatant instances. Lastly, the Township Committee and the Board of Education settled an issue at the last township meeting and through subsequent communications. I have been in contact with the superintendent and also the board president at least twice since. Yet, Mrs. Mary Ann Clementi has taken it upon herself to be the self-appointed spokesperson for the Board of Ed through her smoke and mirror comments. I spoke with Board President Lisa Becker this morning and brought this to her attention. She sent me an email which she said I could read this evening, and it eloquently reads as follows. Dear Mayor Cerulli, in response to your call this morning, I would just like to reiterate the following, which you can share with your fellow committee members. While the Barnegat Board of Education respects all citizens' rights to express their opinions, we most certainly have no control over statements that may be wrongly implied forms of representation. Please be advised and rest assured that only the superintendent, the board president, vice president, or their designee is authorized to speak on behalf of the board or the majority of the district. As you and I have both reiterated in public and through the media, we consider the recent situation to have been appropriately addressed and are only interested in moving forward. I hope that if any of the members of the committee or public for that matter have any questions or concerns, that they feel free to reach out to the Board of Education directly, and that was sincerely Mrs. Lisa Becker. So, in other words, and I won't be as ineloquent, Mrs. Clementi does not speak for the Board of Ed. The Board of Ed does not wish to continue this. The Township Committee's only concern was that it be brought out to the public that there was a surplus. The board admitted to that. The matter was closed. To continue to keep running this would only cause further problems, and in the long run will hurt not only the relationship between both boards, but will also obviously hurt the children. And that's all I have to say on that. All right, next. We have Committeeman Melfiando.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a few brief things. Just want to report from the police department that in 2011 they reported an 8% reduction in traffic violations over the year prior, which is a good thing, I guess. But they attribute a lot of that to the fact that their accreditation processes that and the fact that they get more out to the community has helped people understand what they're supposed to do, what they're not supposed to do, and the results are down, which 8%, which is a great thing. The Economic Development Committee met last week, and they're working ahead towards some more signage throughout the town to make make people aware of some of the areas in town and what's available down at our waterfront. We're working on that. It's taking a little time, but we should see a big major sign hopefully this year on the corner of Bay Shore, Barnegat Boulevard, and Route 9, attracting people down to our waterfront and what's available down there. And the Chamber of Commerce, not a whole lot to report there as yet, but their next meeting in March is going to be held at Lefty's for any chamber members or anyone who likes to would like to go to the chamber meeting. We meet there once every quarter. We have they have some little hors d'oeuvres and snacks and foods and whatever. It's a $10 cover charge for anybody. And that's open to any business, whether you're a chamber member or not. You want to come to the chamber meeting, whether it be at the ones we normally hold at the Barnegat Nursing Home or at Lefty's once every quarter. You're always welcome to show up for there. And once at the nursing home, we have continental breakfast 8 o'clock in the morning, first Thursday of the month, and that's free. So you'd rather go to the free one or pay the $10, that's up to you. And basically that's it for me, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Committeeman Lasella.
Thank you, Mayor. As you stated, we'll be going Thursday to Trenton, and I'm really looking forward to this meeting, and hopefully it'll be more productive than when we met with the county to get a resolution to this problem that we constantly face. My office has also been doing a great job in furnishing the residents of this town for some tax appeals that they feel that they're entitled to. And I'd like to thank the staff at my office for helping out the residents of this town. I also, at this point, would like to thank Dave Breeden for his countless hours that he put in for all his efforts for our shared services that got us to this point right now. I know he was working day and night, 7 days a week. And Dave, I'd like to personally thank you for that effort. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Committeeman Morano.
Thank you. First, we have a lot of good plans down at Dock this year. We'll have some good bands and we'll have a lot of fun. That's progressing along, and everybody should come out every Saturday night. I've also had some Sunday nights with no cost to taxpayers, but people are getting in, coming, and they want to be involved. So I'd like to see everybody down there. It starts the 4th of July, and we're going to have a real good time. Secondly, I'd like to just go my opinion to the Havanian development that's going out West Bay Area. Again, my opinion. I feel that this township should have a resolution passed that we oppose the governor's plan to let residential from senior development to residential. The impact is going to be terrible if it goes through. If our planning board passes it, the impact on the schools and the impact on the taxpayer in this town, and again, this is my opinion, will be terrible. You're going to have 300 residential homes, which will cause more busing, 13,000 students. I think we're in big trouble. I feel we should tell Trenton, let them know. We should oppose it. And again, this is my personal opinion. The impact will be too great for the people of Barnegat. On that note, I'd like to see everybody get together and pass some kind of statement, send it to the governor saying,
If I could ask a question, I think the governor changed it, correct?
Mayor, I'd just like to make the committee aware that that application is before the planning board right now.
Correct.
It's in the process. A decision has not been made yet, so I would caution the committee against any action on that particular application until the planning board had an opportunity to fully review it and vote on it.
if I'm not mistaken, I think the legislature and the governor reversed that, didn't they? And this tract just got in under the wire for that.
Right, that is true. Probably by 2 days, they got their application in, Mayor, underneath the wire, because I think, it's an opinion, they may have realized that this was not such a good idea, and now the legislature has let that fall by the wayside, but Hovanian got in like 2 days, I think, before it expired in November.
And may I, Dave, I think it's very, very important here that this committee does not taint the planning board application.
Right.
That's critical. In other words, this application is before the planning board, they must make that decision first. We shouldn't have anything to say about it, we really shouldn't
No,
have
we won't.
any opinion. Even though everybody's entitled to an opinion, but an opinion, especially by resolution or anything by this board, would absolutely be the wrong thing to do. And I think that,
No, we're not gonna do that.
right, we really shouldn't do that whatsoever. Thank you.
You finished? Thanks, man. Deputy Mayor, Billy?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. On February 14th, I did attend and give a presentation to about 100 people in the room for the Southern Ocean County Chamber of Commerce. It was a nice event. I brought up, in my personal opinion, I just want to make Barnegat a better place to live, an even better place to live. But we have obstacles, and the economy is hurting us, like the A&P closing. Gennardi's is on the brink. You know, we hear things, but we're not going to come out with anything official because we don't know anything for sure. On the other hand, we did pass, there's a new bank and an STS coming where the old Luke Oil was, and Barnegat Crossing is moving some dirt around. Whether or not we get ahead with that, we don't know. As far as that, and that also came up with the 5th Street track. I am on the planning board, I cannot comment on that. You know, I'll save my comments for next week on the planning board. And one of the biggest things was that they were people from the tourism department, and of course they're very proud and happy, and they showed us all kinds of films about the Super Bowl coming to I don't know if you can say Giant Stadium, it's MetLife Stadium in 2014. So that was a big presentation, but it was enjoyable, and then I tried to listen to comments about what the other towns are facing, and a lot of them are facing exact same things we are, with assessments, with closing of stores. It's just the economy in general and the whole situation that we're in. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, Dave?
Mayor, I have a PowerPoint presentation I'd like to do this evening, the same presentation that we did in Ocean Township on February 8th.
Might not have it here.
It's right here.
Planning and Trade, if you want to see it.
No,
It's a new package.
sorry, Ray.
Oh, he's going out? Going for smoke?
Turn out the lights.
Oh, it's coming up now.
Yeah. Can everybody see that? Is that better? Okay, this is a handout. Everybody should have a handout. It was next to the door as you walked in. As I stated earlier, this is the exact same presentation that we made on February 8th in the joint meeting between Barnegat and Ocean Township at the Waretown Firehouse. At that meeting, as Mayor Cerulli indicated, we reviewed the history of shared services between the two towns. In addition to that, we established what I would call significant, meaningful shared service agreements in the area of tax collection, recreation, and planning and zoning that will realize significant cost savings for the residents of Barnegat, but yet at the same time maintain an acceptable level of service. We have to recognize some trends in the state of New Jersey. The state of New Jersey is promoting, encouraging, pushing towns to either consolidate or to engage in shared services. Consolidation is when two towns become one. That was recently done at the Princeton Borough, Princeton Township. That process took roughly 30 to 35 years to accomplish, and at least 3 public referendums before it passed. The consolidation process, for the most part, is not a popular process because Many residents fear that they will lose their town's identity. With regards to Ocean and Barnegat, we have no desire to consolidate. We are accomplishing what we need to accomplish with regards to shared services. Goal of both consolidation and shared services is to save money, is to reduce the size and cost of government. And we're accomplishing that goal with shared services. Some history of the shared services between the two towns. We took phase one, which was basically an informal understanding between the two towns. No formal agreements, no contracts. Just when one town needed help, they picked up the phone and called the other town. Most of that pertained to public works, water and sewer. Maybe some equipment, parts, supplies, stuff like that. Most of the impact was operational. Phase two was in 2010 when both townships decided to share an administrator. Phase three was 2011, in which both townships shared uniform construction code inspectors, public works resources, in addition to entering into a joint solid waste contract. And phase four would be expanded shared services, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. Like I said, phase one was informal understanding, minor financial impact. Most of the impact was with regards to operations, and that informal understanding was mainly handled on the street. Foremen and public works departments talking to each other. We have a truck down, we need a part, do you have the part? We need a backhoe for a couple hours to dig a hole. That was informal. That started basically in 2006 between the two towns. Phase two, or part two, in April 2010, as a result of the administrator, full-time administrator departing from Ocean Township, it was decided to try sharing administrator. First, it was a 3-year experiment that turned into a 3-month experiment, which turned into a 6-month experiment, which ultimately turned into a permanent solution to managing the two towns at a reduced cost. As a result of the agreement, Barnegat generates roughly $50,000 in revenue. Ocean Township realizes cost savings of roughly $100,000. Total position value of the administrator in Waretown or Ocean Township was $150,000 in 2010 dollars. Phase three in 2011, both townships started to share uniform construction code inspectors. As a result of construction activity decreasing in both towns, the inspectors were not as busy. Waretown or Ocean Township reduced the number of inspectors they had by 2, and Barnegat inspectors went over to Ocean to do their inspection work. That arrangement has worked out very nicely. Waretown or Ocean Township has been able to reduce their operating expense. Barnegat generates revenue, and at the same time, we're able to maintain jobs of dedicated, committed employees. You can see the UCC inspections dropping over the years. Again, Barnegat generated roughly $65,000 in revenue from the UCC inspectors in 2011. We didn't start that to April. Ocean Township reduced full-time staffing by 2, was able to save $95,000, and again, we're able to keep dedicated, hard-working employees on the payroll. Phase 3, sharing public works resources. This also started in 2010. Street sweeper. Barnegat sweeps both Barnegat Township and Ocean Township. Sometimes we use the Barnegat sweeper. Sometimes we use the Ocean Township sweeper. In addition, we dump all our street sweepings at a dry pad in Ocean Township. The dry pad was recently built by Ocean Township at a cost of roughly $50,000. In addition, we manufacture signs for Ocean Township. Ocean Township provides their roll-off truck to us for our dumpsters, and each town helps each other whenever there's a need for assistance. In addition, as Mayor Cerulli indicated, we also entered into a shared service agreement with the City of Ocean City to design and manufacture their street and traffic signs. One of the biggest accomplishments or milestones with this shared service is the joint solid waste contract. In 2011, both towns went out in a joint contract, and as a result, significant savings were realized. Prior to the contract, Barnegat was paying $9.07 per month per house for trash collection. As a result of the new contract, we're paying $5.33. 41% reduction. On average, we'll save in over $31,000 per month. Waretown had the same impact. They're saving roughly $13,000 a month. And as you can see, over the 5 years of the contract, it goes from $533 to $577. Greatly reduced from what we were paying before. Again, it was a very competitive contract. We were able to combine the households of both towns and realize significant savings. At the meeting on February 8th, we adopted resolutions. Both towns adopted resolutions at the same time to enter into shared service agreements for tax collector, zoning officer, and recreation director. Barnegat let go 3 full-time permanent employees, and the Ocean Township employees will be coming over to Barnegat to perform their services. The Ocean Township tax collector will be coming over to Barnegat. The Ocean Township recreation director will be coming over here to manage recreational activities. All 3 have started. They hit the ground running, and we feel very confident that this arrangement will work very well. When the Ocean Township employees are in Barnegat, Barnegat will be paying them. The 3 employees in Barnegat had a total position value of $311,000. Those 3 positions in Ocean have a total position value of $250,000. We figured that the Ocean Township employees will be over here between 35% and 40% of the time. Therefore, we're liable for 35% to 40% of the $250,000. There's questions. How can the Ocean Township employees come over here and do the work? Some answers. Number 1, efficiency with experience. As you gain experience with the job, you become better at it. Think of your first day at work. You don't know any phone numbers, you don't know any names. After a few years, you can do your functions quicker. Advances in technology. Technology makes the job easier. You're not tied to a desk. You can answer email on the fly, on the go. Solid support staff. In Barnegat Township, we have solid support staff in all those 3 offices. And the staff in those offices have embraced this change, recognized that this is a trend, and are working diligently to make sure that this works. Decrease in activity, particularly with zoning. As we can see, zoning permits have dropped between 30% and 40% in both towns. When you add both towns, zoning permits in 2011 comes out to 4 zoning permits per day. We determined that 4 permits per day, the zoning officer should be able to handle both towns. And we will continue to look at shared service possibilities. One thing I've discovered with shared services, you start off easy with the stuff that you know you can do well. Be successful, then build upon your successes. A lot of people say, why don't you consolidate police? Well, that's tough. That's one of the last ones that you'll tackle. Do the easy ones first. Public works, water and sewer. Be successful. Generate revenue, reduce expenses, and build upon your successes. So essentially, that was the PowerPoint presentation that we did in Waretown on February 8th. After that presentation, both governing bodies adopted the necessary resolutions and put into action the 3 additional shared services in tax collection, recreation, and planning and zoning. That's all I have with regards to the PowerPoint, Mayor. I do have some items I'd like to go over on the agenda. Page 3 of the agenda, Resolution 2012-134, resolution authorizing a maintenance service contract for the Barnegat Police Department for subscription advantage. That's for the GPS units in the police cars. Annual amount of $675 per year. Resolution 2012-135, resolution authorizing a maintenance agreement with Guardian Tracking. That is the human resource software package that the police department uses, consistent with the requirements of accreditation. On page 4, resolution 2012-136, resolution approving a generator maintenance contract. Barnegat Township has 20 emergency generators spread throughout the town. This contract is for $9,900 and provides a annual maintenance inspection and oil change. Resolution 2012-137, a maintenance service contract to Textron for police radios for $7,800 per year. That provides a semi-annual inspection of certain radio components, in addition to establishing hourly rates for repair. Resolution 2012-142, resolution that the governing body of Barnegat Township has reviewed general comments and recommendations of the 2010 audit. The audit has 9 comments. It is an unqualified audit. You can basically have 4 different types of audits: unqualified, qualified, adverse, and no comment. An unqualified audit is an audit in which there's no major deficiencies or deviations from established accounting policy or procedure. A qualified audit is an audit that has 1 or 2 deviations. An adverse audit means look for a different line of work, start over, your records are horrible, and no comment means there wasn't enough information to render an opinion. Barnegat Township got an unqualified opinion, a clean opinion. We had 9 recommendations. Some of them were minor in nature. 4 of them were with the court, 2 were with recreation. Resolution 2012-144, resolution endorsing a lease contract for a copy machine. With copy machines, you never want to own a copy machine. You want to lease it on state contract for $169 a month. We get everything with that copy machine, with the exception of paper. We get the toner, we get the ink, we get service, we get staples. It's the way to go. Resolution 2012-147, authorizing purchase of state contract for various firefighting equipment. Back in December, Township Committee authorized the bond ordinance and allocated $300,000 to Barnegat Volunteer Fire Company for the purchase of firefighting equipment and supplies. This purchase is for roughly $22,000. And finally, Resolution 2012-149, executing a state contract for the purchase of 1 Chevy Tahoe for the Barnegat First Aid Squad. As the mayor indicated, the previous vehicle was totaled in an accident. We are using the proceeds from that in addition to some bond money to acquire the vehicle for roughly $31,000. Thank you, Mayor. Yeah. Thank you. As a result of closed session, we have 2 additional resolutions that we would add to the agenda. Resolution 2012-151, resolution authorizing the township to advertise for 2 part-time court clerks. Resolution 2012-152, resolution authorizing agreement with the Barnegat Township Superior Officers Association for a 3-year contract. That 3-year contract spans from January 1st, 2011 through December 31st, 2013. It allows for 1.95% increases per year. However, for 2011, they do not get that salary increase to mid-December, so they forego their salary increase for 11.5 months in December. As a result of this contract, over the 3 years, the total salary increase for the 15 officers, part of this organization, will be roughly $77,000. The amount of health care contribution that we will collect from these officers during the 3 years will be roughly $105,000. So we are collecting more in health care contribution than they are receiving in cost of living increase. In addition, this contract also eliminates the detective stipend of 10% and formally eliminates the canine stipend of 10%. Thank you, Mayor.
Just going back to 2012-151, we had our,
Let me explain it. Resolution 2012-151, resolution authorizing the township to advertise for 2 part-time court clerks. In 2010 and 2011, the municipal court of the Township of Barnegat had 3 full-time court employees.
as a result of personnel action taken at the end of 2011, the municipal court now has 2 full-time employees, down 1 full-time employee. Instead of hiring 1 full-time employee, the township is elected to hire 2 part-time people, therefore saving on health care and pension costs, yet at the same time providing needed coverage of the court.
And the part-timers won't be operating at the same time, in other words, they won't be on the job at the same time each day.
The part-timers will cover, the part-timers' schedule would be established based upon demand and workload of the court. The court administrator and deputy administrator have certain functions that they must perform in a timely manner. The primary duty of the clerks will be to sit at the window and collect fines.